Praises to the living God in Jesus' name. I would have never come to the internet if I didn't believe I have something to say that's not been said before. Everything has been said before. Go watch that. I'll be watching that too with you. I would have never come to the internet. I would have never put my face to a camera and make it public. Friends and I were discussing just a couple of weeks ago how you have to have a degree of crazy in you to want fame. I seek no fame. Believe me, I don't. Half the time I'm laughing because you'll get to find out when I pour it all out. I believe I have something to say. I believe not only do I have something to say, what I have to say can help. I believe what I have to say is essential to say. And as with everything, it starts first with the kingdom of God. And incidentally, that's what I believe I've come to a certain discernment. A discernment which, in this busy life, we can't stop to digest with even like-minded beings. Some have to go to work, some have to pick kids, we're busy, we're moving about. We don't have hours just sitting there discerning and doing research and cross-checking, etc. And the internet, crazy though a place it is, provides that space where globally people can have time at their own pace and digest some information. Plus, because I've not had time to fully digest with people, I don't want to be full of my own self. So, I don't want to believe in my own truths. These aren't my own truths, by the way. We'll get into all that pretty fast. I'm going to try and bomb through this because indeed our attention span says something too long is unnecessary. The living God. I believe the living God gave his word to us so that we know him. I was going to do next a topic about love. And love not being the fairy tale hugs and kisses, Cinderella things that we've been taught. But the real love means knowledge. For infinite love is just but perfect knowledge. So love is knowledge. The word of the living God was given through his emissaries to man, so we know. Yet the shepherds have been keeping us asleep. So I believe this word is necessary. I believe it's been shrouded in code, and the real active ingredients have been hidden. And not only that, the real knowledge has been put in a corner where most will not look. Well, I went out looking. It's been years, nigh on a decade. And it surprises me that I see people have read the same material, have not digested, have not prayed upon, have not lived through it. They just pick up a mic and start speaking. The deception is heavy, and it's not only from the age-old shepherds. It's these new digital shepherds. There's a whole topic I wanted to do about these new age shepherds who control millions of people, 250,000 followers, etc. They hold their minds, and there is no standard. At least the age-old shepherd, you could hold them to a standard. These people are pushing out so much. There's so much noise in the space. And I believe the wheel has turned, because the truth about the living God, it was given to man to know him. And it adds up, because the man that it was given to at that age was told, there's a lot you wouldn't understand about this because it's not for you. It's for an age of man that you cannot even discern how they'll be today, in that day. And that's us, I believe. So the living God. For 5,000 years and over, man has been chewing on ambiguities about the living God, and hard-nosed thinkers, logical thinkers, have been pushed away from the church. Why? Because they go ask reasonable questions and are fed a whole lot of bull. So they're like, nah, this God is imaginary. Nah, we can't. The shepherds don't have answers. The people who are meant to have all the answers, gauge people's discernment, to give some milk, to give some bones, they're giving everybody milk. And it looks like they're on milk themselves, but no, they're hiding the juicy meat from you. And that essence of the unseen has been put in an ambiguous term where now it's like, oh, imaginary, he's there, but he's not there. We don't really understand what that unseen means. But hold on, just a second. Mr. Surentai does academia, technology, and all these beautiful things, have made us understand their unseen. What am I talking about? My key. When I press it, pow. From a distance, the car will lock. An unseen energy, vibration, frequency, whatever, came to shut off the car. The same with your remote. The same with a FaceTime call. The same with a phone call. Unseen energy moves stuff through. And Mr. Sudentai has broken it down. Oh, yes, unseen. But this what you need to press to get this desired effect. The shepherds, though, have provided us no understanding of that unseen. Just led many to just conclude it must be imaginary. What are they talking about? Well, the living God is real. His only begotten Son is real. And confirmation is all in us. Confirmation is all around us. So let's get to it. Praises to the living God in Jesus' name. I come not as one sent to you. Bear that in mind. So while you're watching all this, take not my word as gospel. You know me from nowhere. Go read and research and cross-check everything you hear. I wouldn't purport myself to be an elect, a chosen, sent to you, said it. No, I'm just presenting my evidence as evidence. Oh, could this be the living God? I know it is. I've lived through it. Testimonies can only come after this. It'll be premature. Because it's through following this that those testimonies came out. So what are we talking about here? The living God. You see, the clue is man was created in the image of God. Yeah. Upon the face of the earth, all the creatures, man was created in the image of the living God. The books of old tell us this. The shepherds have led us to have some physicalized view of the living God and his kingdom. So when you even these digital shepherds, when you see animations of the living God, is always a man with hands moving on a throne of glories like as of man. And that's how we picture it, because we don't understand the unseen. But the unseen is all in us. Mr. Student, I don't teach about the unseen. You would have thought it's the shepherd's realm. It's more the essences in us, which I was one of those logical thinkers. I got baptized and confirmed at 18 in kind of like a very weird ceremony at 2 a.m. with candles, man. But I was asking my cat Keys questions which he couldn't answer. And he said one thing which stuck with me and which will forever stick with me. He said, oh, count that. I was asking about something in Revelations, and he said, count that off as religious fiction. Whoa. Even as an 18-year-old, my mind was blown in the, is it paradox? Whatever literary conflict in those two words, because religious is gospel, truth, and fiction is lies. Religious fiction is mad. So, I, nigh on, left the church, still loving God with all my heart, believing there is a higher deity. His only begotten Son, I have to say. I started thinking, what man is born without intercourse? What man, i.e. woman now in this question, can be on the level with God enough to mate with God to have... So I started doubting a lot about what they're saying about Jesus. But I did believe, yeah, there is the only begotten Son. But I went a-looking. I stepped out of status quo knowledge of where to find knowledge. With the living God as my anchor, knowing known knowledge can pervert me if it's even evil knowledge. Say I was exposed to some evil. Say a friend said, hey, you can do this and do that. I know myself. I'm banishing you from my circle ASAP. So if I'm reading something which it says that you did it, I knew it wouldn't pervert me. So I started reading a lot. And boy, did I find out a lot. And the real knowledge seeps in when you read and don't react straight off of it. There are three primal urges: the need for sex, the need for food, and the need for undigested self-expression. If you quell the latter, that's when knowledge will start seeping to you. And that's only the beginning, because from that knowledge you need understanding. Living through it creates awareness, which leads to wisdom. I'm not saying I'm wise, but I'm saying this is what I found. The living God has his essence reflected in us. And how it works: we are in the living God. We're literally inside the living God. And he in us. The Bible says this verbatim. Like I said in the previous video, the Bible just confirms truth, but it's coded, heavily dressed in some garments which look like lies. But the Bible says this: we're in the living God and he in us. So we are inside a macro being, and he is in the micro beings, us, by way of we reflect the essences in him. And there is a link. The link is the presences. The presences indeed is what builds the body, if you may, of the living God. So the presences, we see that as planets, a place where one has a space to support their essence, a presence. Okay. In the presences, we'll come to find that the living God is reflected in the presences naturally, because that builds his form, his formless form. All this will become ever so clear the minute I start talking about it. So chill. So his form, which is in the presences, is reflected in one of the creations, us, man. So what are these essences? Before I even go into where all this knowledge came from, it's essential just to break the kingdom of the living God first. As above, so below, as below, so above. As sure as there are kingdoms down here is modeled on something above. And kingdoms down here has structure and hierarchy. And those structures and hierarchies are these essences which are reflected in us. Let's start with us, because everybody understands us. Word of warning: do not align me with anything you've heard before. Particularly with this that I'm about to talk about, do not align me with the chakra bullshit. Forgive my French. But what law teaches you to put your anus to the positive pole to push out wishes? Let's not go there. Do not align me with Kundalini bullshit. For what law of the living God, which is the opposite kingdom to the kingdom of death, headed by the serpent, would have serpentine fires going through you. So don't align me with none of these things when I start saying this. I'm just talking about our essences, things in us that without, you cannot be human. We all got them. Black, white, fat, slim, skinny, tall, short, whatever. You got this, right? A sidebar which I'll come back to. This lays qualification of linking to the living God bare. Says every man can be linked to the living God. Now contrast religion, which is bloodlines, certain groups, certain tribes, certain cultures. Even if you want to join, sometimes you can't even join. Like, it's mad. That's the qualification to the living God, the higher deity who created all things. Contrast hateful beings of supposed light. They are talking of some light which they feel appointed or elected to of the living God. They feel like the chosen, but they are saying some people are not human. Some people's origins are unknown. Some people are this. You are condemning life. Let's start. I'm starting at 16 minutes, and I aim to unveil the glory of the living God in maximum 30 minutes, which is another defacement to a church that has been chewing on ambiguous versions of the word he gave us, keeping the people confused. So let's get it. All right. As a premise, how it's all built, the macro being, we are in there, and he's in us. As a premise, there are two absolutes in everything. People say there's no absolute. Everything is relative, which leads people to ambiguous rabbit holes saying we're in a simulation. Unsimulate yourself, let me see. It don't work like that. There are two absolutes, life and death. For indeed, when someone's dead, there's no relativity about that. He gone. When someone is alive, is born, there's no relativity there. These are two absolute laws. There are other absolute laws, but they're all attached to the kingdom of life, and everything in the kingdom of death is just but the reverse. They just take that law and flip it on its head, for indeed it's the reverse kingdom built through polarity. But we're going too fast. It's about life and death. Everything above is life. Everything below is death. It may sound very simple. We are at the center point, a place where a major event in our story, the story of life, fused life and death. So in this realm, things live and die. But in our understanding, there are beings above who've been alive for time and know no death. So that's the premise for it all. Everything to do with life is God. In the Bible, it makes a strong distinction when God is really speaking, not the fake one. You see, the living God of hosts. The living is key. Life is but a law. All is law. The law of life has right at the top, like how we have right at the top our minds, the living God, his first known name to man was Yahweh. But again, we're going too fast. The living God is a macro being built 7 in 1. So we have certain essences reflected on the living God, right? But for us, it's 1 in 1, something we're about to go through next, these essences. For the living God that we're reflected in, every point has 7 of those essences, all reflected from above. It's cascading, so there'll be links. It's not just 7 random essences. It's all cascading. Okay. The living God is 7 in 1, and we are 1 in 1. We're like a photocopy of a 3D version, if you may. These essences in us, in all things life, there are 9 interlocked dimensions, right? In us, I call these points. These points are essences which perform a function to complete life. It's all a law, and each of them are different laws, but are all bound in the being. One, a law of many in one, right? These 9 essences in man are vital points to the man. All man needs this to be man and woman, obviously. 2 of them are not life points, yet still vital points. What qualifies for something to be a life point? The 7th absolute law of life, gender, has to qualify. There has to be a male, less seen, less physical essence, and a female, more seen, more physical essence, together working to complete the essence of that function to build the point. So what is this that I'm talking about? There are 9 interlocked dimensions in man. Let's start from the bottom up, because in life it's onwards and upwards. Point 1, the anus. We're all grown though, yeah? So don't let people start acting. When I start talking about this with some people, the anus, I'm like, yo, how old are you again? The anus. The chakra man there will tell you is the space between the genitals and the bro. Just chill. It's the anus. That's a vital point in man. All man need is the second part of the through gut. The second opening in the through gut, which is essential to build the body. The body itself is another point. So all these words are key. Hang on to every word. Point 1, the anus, the flush out point. There is no male-female atonement, so it's just a vital point, not a life point. In man, the micro version of the macro being, life points start at 2, the shadow. Again, don't confuse this with Egyptology and all those. Their version is, like I said, is reverse of life's version. This is life's version, and proof is to follow. Point 2, the shadow. This is the being's regenerative essence, which allows him to recreate self. There's the primordial germ cell. In the man, this is the sperm. In the woman, there's the egg. Note that these are the unseen essences. The sperm is not seen. What man sees when he ejaculates, when he busts, that's the semen, quoting the unseen essence, the sperm. In the woman, the egg is totally unseen till it becomes a baby, or till death happens in cycles, and that's fast forwarding way too far ahead. Basically, the primordial germ cell is unseen, but at point 2, there's a more physical element of point 2 which facilitates that unseen essence, genitalia, etc. So in that is the male-female atonement to complete point 2, the shadow. Come up one more, point 3, the body. Like I mentioned before, a major event has encapsulated life and death, and in that, man formed a physical body. Before, man didn't have a physical body. I don't want to go into that argument. I get distracted. I tried doing this, and somebody tried this. Like, I don't want to. As the story unfolds, you will get it. But for now, point 2, the shadow, the regenerative essence of the man. Point 3, the body. Here, we have all the organs necessary to fund the body. Spleen, gallbladders, bladders, the large intestines, small intestines, stomach sac. There's a whole lot going on there, which is essential to fund the body. Okay, cool. The body itself, like I said, has been encapsulated. It encapsulated the whole thing, and in this realm is more physical. So that physicality of the body as a whole is the female element. The organs within, with its juices and joints, etc., that's the unseen element, which completes point 3 as the body, a point. The essence, it's effectively the presence for the being. Come up one more, point 4, the vital spark. Totally unseen essence, but this is a realm of physicality. So when it hits physicality, even within the being, it oozes as blood, yet still unseen. Till an accident happens or till a cut happens, you wouldn't see blood. It's unseen and totally contained in the body. Even when you go into the body, you can see it's contained in the heart, which is a more physical essence, pushing and distributing that blood throughout the body. The heart is the more physical essence, therefore the female essence of the vital spark. The male essence is the vital spark oozing as blood. And together they complete point 4. Come up one, point 5. The power of the word. The voice is totally unseen. Heard, but totally unseen. That's the male essence of the power of the word, the voice. The female essence, the tendons and teeth and air action, making the voice happen. They will have to work together to complete the essence. The function of that essence, the point. Point 5, the power of the word. Point 6, the brain. Mr. Sudantai has told us all we need to know about the brain, the small brain, the big brain, etc. But what's behind our forehead, the prefrontal cortex, or the third eye, or the pineal gland, that is indeed the less seen element, which brings up the light from the vital spark to fund the brain to do work. So, in that, we have the less seen element, the male element, whatever is behind the prefrontal cortex, then the brain as a female element to complete the essence of that, the function of that essence, and complete that point as point 6, the brain. Then the 7th essence, a vital point but not a life point. So there are only 7 life points in man. This essence, this space is a key vital point that you don't hear many spiritual people talk about. You're more likely to hear boxers or a professional contact sport talk about this. The space above your head, the circular space like your dome right on top of your head, that is a point. You're not meant to hit that space. You're not meant to sleep squashing that space. You're meant to leave some gap there because it's a portal. A portal for what? That's the portal to your mind. There's a huge difference between the brain and the mind. Again, Mr. Sudantai don't teach much about the unseen, but the mind is seated in the space of that dome. That dome is just the space for the mind. That's point 7. 8 and 9 at 1 is the mind. And how it works? 9 is your higher soul self. That vital spark down here is only but an astral self. It's not our soul. It's a misnomer, but that's okay. It's kind of like our soul. But it's the astral self, and through the brain, the astral self mediates with the soul self. So when you're in your mind space, you're almost zoned out. You look like you're daydreaming. People actually actively block out this physicality to do heavy mind work. You need to connect. It's an active connection. It's not like all these essences that we said that the male and female are just doing the work. With the mind, when it gets there, you need to actively connect. The female essence, which is the more seen essence of the mind, can only be the astral self because this is the physical realm. To the less seen essence, the soul self, the male element, and the atonement of that is a completion of mind work on any topic. That's the human. Okay. Now in the presences, we can only lean on the dodgy yet very colorful and interesting evidence Mr. Sudantai has provided. Why do I say it's dodgy? Because all the knowledge they got was built from the very source where I got this. Yet I saw the living God, and they saw spaceships and revolutions and different races of people, and they seeing aliens, etc. I saw the living God, angels, and them ones there. And I'm here to tell you about it. When we start talking about the present, it's very interesting because the knowledge will let you understand something. Physicality is only an evidence of something that isn't physical. If I see a house, it first had to be a non-physical thing, an idea in someone's head, plans, physicalized into something. Physicality is only evidence of something that was not physical. Basically, how it works, it all starts from the spiritual, trickles into the mental, and shouldn't have been this physical, but eventually we got to this space. We'll get to all of that. So, when it comes to the presences, it's key to note something. Because we're talking about the presence as the planets and the living God, doesn't mean the planet is a living God. If you think like that, that's like thinking you can be loved for your actual vocal cords. You may be loved for your voice. When we look deeper, we're not even loving you for your voice. We love the soul behind the voice, because people could sing as good as you, but they can't generate the goosebumps you can. So for somebody to align your greatness by way of that voice with your vocal cords and love your vocal cords says they don't get it. So thinking God is a planet says you don't get it. That's the very reason the men who were given these words to preserve for us were told, this knowledge ain't for you. Your light hasn't hit up yet. You start seeing planets and sun, etc. as God. But the essence is reflected through the presence. That doesn't mean the presence is God. Just like your voice, the example I gave. That doesn't mean your vocal cords is what. That's just an essence as part of the being, completing the being, and has not much to do with the essence of the whole being. So, how it works? Remember I said, the living God is built 7 in 1. These essences in us is just 1 in 1. Flash out point, just a flash out point. Point 2 is just a regenerative essence. Point 3 is just our body. Point 4 is just our vital spark. But imagine now a macro being, not like a human with the hands dangling, can walk here, can come back and forth. No, just these essences in a macro form. At every one point, there are 7 essences, all reflected from above. And here's how it works. In life, the micro being, us, life starts at point 2. The macro being, the living God, life starts at point 3. And how could it not? Because when you're in the shadow, you've not awoken. Could be life, could not be life. Take us, for example. Our primordial germ cell could be life, some could be life, some couldn't be. So till you come out into life, i.e. come up to point 3, embodiment, which, big note, was not meant to be as physical as this, and we'll get there. But till you come out into embodiment, you're not in the kingdom of life, you're in the shadows. So in the macro being, it all starts, life starts at 3. And at 3, there are 7 essences. At 4, there are 7. Some are at 1. They get more at 1, more and more at the higher it goes, because it's cascading. So at 3, there are 7 lords. They are non-physical essences who are buried beneath the whole point or essence or realm if in us it's points, in the macro being it's realms, because there's 7. Those 7 essences who are lords are beneath the realm, because the system works onwards and upwards. So the reflection of everything is built onwards and upwards. And the 3 lords, the 7 lords beneath 3, building the realm, who have their essences reflected in us, it's a very clear link. Here is where I see people got distracted, because you see the link clearly at 3, but it goes onwards and upwards. You just dealt with 1 realm and 7 lords. It's cascading. So at point 3, you have 7 lords. These 7 lords have names, and their order is what's sectioned in the 7s. Their order are also names, the names of which built numerology, right? So when we're saying 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, don't think it's the symbols. Don't think it's just the names, even spelled out. The basis of this built numerology as we know it today. The order, the lords have orders, and the orders are sectioned as 3, THREE, 4, 5, and 6, always at 1, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9 are also always at 1 with a dash in between. Instantly, you come to see the link in us. We mentioned 3, the body, 4, the vital spark, etc. So we come to see, okay, the link is there. But this is just in the macro being realm 3. But they have characteristics which tie in the link more. 3, which is THREE, the first lord at realm 3. His essence is the builder of the halls of death. Indeed, if you need to go to heaven, you have to die first. The Lord who pushes negativity through hidden magic to man. You'll be like, what's going on? I thought we were talking about the living God, bruv. Yeah. Embodiment is the reverse, like I keep saying, of the formless form of the living God. We all know it's a spirit, and spirits don't have physicality to them. They don't have a physical form. So it's almost a journey where you have to shed physicality, and to shed physicality, you will have to go through the temptations of physicality and shun them. And that's a whole process. So that's what the Lords at 3 does, but they are not designed to hold you back. Why? Because it's onwards and upwards, and they are the first lords. Right above them is 4. The lords who are the freest of the soul of man. They have a countenance of fire and a substance of light. We can instantly align that with our vital spark. A countenance of fire and a vital substance of light. Yea, though we can't see our vital spark, in our mind's eye, we can imagine it as having a countenance of fire and a substance of light. Why? Because the pourings out of that light, like your word, your tongue, like your brain work, etc., is either a light or a fire. Indeed, the Bible talks about how the tongue is like a fire. But I went 1 too quick. Basically, what's the link in 3 and the planet? Well, we're at the 3rd planet, in the 3rd realm. And in this realm, there's a realm of negativity and hidden magic. We don't know half of what's around us. What our eyes can see far outnumbers what our eyes can. Trust me on this, right? Not only that, it's a realm of negativity. I could drive past this speed camera 50 years without triggering it, doing the proper speed limit. I ain't getting an award. That's what you're meant to do. I go past it once above the speed limit, it'll click, and I'll have to pay for it, points on license, etc., or go on a course or the next thing, yeah? Because it's a realm of negativity. That's a trivial example, but there's endless examples. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So, the presence, 3, that's the earth. A place where death and life is mixed and all pass through the halls of death to either elevate or, boy, listen. Yeah. 4, the countenance of fire, substance of light. The 4th planet, the red planet, has a fiery essence. Could that be a link? You may say, oh, it's a reach. But firstly, Mr. Student's evidence is what we have to lean on. And secondly, till you hear the whole thing, seeing as none of us can go to space and confirm, we can only use what we have. But when you hear the whole thing, everything that sounded like a reach ties in. So the fiery planet, the red planet. Then we come to 5, the power of the word in us. In the presence, the Lord of 5, his essence is the Lord of all magic. Again, I've tried this speaking to people and their demeanor is kind of like, come on, man, are we still speaking about the living God? What are you talking about magic? Well, magic, my dear friend, is just knowledge unknown to you. If I come do and I produce a dove, you'll be like, you did magic. But if you knew how I did it, it's knowledge. You know, knowledge. Or he had something in his sleeve, he did this distraction and pulled it out here. That's not magic. It's just knowledge. Bear in mind, 3, the realm we're in is hidden magic. That's what they push towards man. But 5 is all magic. To all knowledge. Not only that, he's the Lord with the key of the word that resounds among man. Instantly, we see the link in us, the power of the word. Not only that, the link in the planet, the mystery planet, you may think it's a mystery. How can we draw a link? All magic. Down here, we're contending with hidden magic and don't even know what's up and what's down. So you know the mystery planet, the Jupiter with the red stone, we don't even know whether the soil, call it the core is solid, etc. That's where all magic exists. But again, a reach till we keep going up. But focus on the essences. The key with the power of the word that resounds among man. And the Lord of all magic. Always linked with 6. Key side note. 5 and 6 in us is intrinsically linked. In our head, power of the word, in our brain, linked. 5 and 6 is always linked in the knowledge. And we'll get next to where this knowledge comes from. Another defacement. How people saw something else. And I saw the living God. But let's stick to the knowledge. So, point 6, the knowledge says, is the pathway to the light. That's his holy essence. That's all they talked about. 6 is the pathway to the light. Full stop. I'm like, okay, so that's our brain. What's the planet saying? Oh, the 6th planet has light rings around it. A lot of people say now on YouTube videos, 6 is the inhabitor. It rules over man and keeps man in this realm and whatever. Well, my dear brethren, that is Canaanite knowledge. Phoenician Canaanites came up with that knowledge. Canaanites are them ones there. So of course that's going to restrict them, inhabit them into this realm. And the story becomes clear when we start the full story. We ain't even started the full story yet. With this, it's just the knowledge of the living God and how he lives in us and confirmation. He's real. His only begotten son is real. And not only that, there is a take home. This is not woke knowledge that won't change your life. Trust me, it's not. We'll get to all of it. After this, I'll even encourage you to go do research and stop listening to me, because the full story is wild. But I'm prepared to say it. I was built for this. So, and that's praises to the living God that I was built for this. So, point 6, pathway to the light. The planet, light rings around it. Okay, so the light rings somehow, according to what I'm saying, has some link to our brain and has a link to the macro being. Okay. Don't forget the essence, though. The essence says the pathway to the light. Don't forget, life's kingdom above emits light, below emits darkness. Okay. Then point 7, in the macro realm, the Lord, who's beneath the realm, reflecting all its presence through its essence through the presences, and it's built in man already anyway. His essence is the infinite all of space with the key to the times. That's the space in us above the space for the mind. In the planets, again, like I said, Mr. Sudentai's evidence, we can only lean on that. And when we lean on that, what do we see in the 7th planet? The only planet tilted on its side, rotating opposite to the way the other planets rotate. And I say, this must be the gauge for all the other planets. That's why it acts that way. Again, a reach till we go up. We're only at realm 3, talking about the 7 lords who are reflected from above. Okay. And above 7, we have 8, 9, always at 1 with a dash in between. EIGHT dash NINE. 8, its function, its essence is the infinite all judge. Its function is the one who weighs and balances man's actions and deeds and orders progress along his path. 9's essence, the infinite all father, vast in countenance, veiled in presence. 8, 9's evidence by way of the presence is presented by Mr. Sudentai. Shifty. We don't know much. Even the 9th planet, up until the 90s, 80s, we were taught of 9 planets. Then their telescopes and their big technologies is like, oh, food. We thought there was because it could have been a moon from the 8th planet. They're confused. Their technology senses a presence there, but can't pinpoint that. So they declassified what they previously thought was the 9th planet. They're confused. And why? Because the essence says it's vast in countenance and veiled. Like a woman wearing a veil, yeah, you can't quite see if her eyes are green or white, you know? Veiled, bruv. In presence. So you can't cause Mr. Sudentai can't find him. So that's realm 3. Instantly, we see the link in all of us. Realm 3, the body. Okay. Realm 4, the vital spark. Okay. Realm 5, the realm 6, the pathway to the... We see the link. But this is, in the macro being, just realm 3. We are just in the belly of the living God. Not only that, beneath point 1 is death. Above point... beneath point 1, the flash out point, in the macro realm is death. Above point 2 is the shadow. Above point 1 is the shadow. And we are in the valley of the shadow of death. Told y'all, the Bible is heavily coded. This is not Denkan religious unseen connections where they say take the 6th letter and add it to this and multiply by that and it means this. Nah. All that becomes so clear. So this realm 3. To go to realm 4, how do you think you get there? Through the pathway to the light. So when we come up to realm 4, we come and see again 7 lords, but the one highest at top is at 1. 8 and 9 is at 1. So what are we dealing with here at round 4? Round 4, we have again 7 lords. The first heads the masters of life. Who are the masters of life? Men who've elevated, completed their appointments, their path through life, and have been appointed and sit as the masters of life. They, if anything, by way of connection to man, they will naturally connect to man because they are man in essence. They've just graduated through the body. The masters of life, they link with 3 because they were down at 3. So once they've been freed, lived through life, qualified, they elevate, they have a position to sit in the section of the masters of life. We come up 1, where down here it will be 4, the freest of the soul of man. Up in realm 4, you see they are the lords of death. Again, people are like, hey, are we still talking about God? Why are you talking about the lords of death? Well, their essence should put your mind at ease a little bit. Their essence is the lords who keep back impending doom and chaos with their infinite balance. All these words mean something. Hang on to every word. So, it's from their essence at realm 4, which builds 4 down here at realm 3, who free your soul. From what they are built, they actually keep impending doom and chaos from the whole system of life. And down in the realm below, their essence reflected there frees the soul of man. So now you see how the cascading system is built. Everything is built from the top and it's cascading down. So let's go up. You come up 1 from the lords of death, who correspond to 4 here at realm 3. You come up 1. 5's link, don't forget 5 at realm 3 here, is the lords of all magic with the key of the word that resounds among man. You come up in realm 4, their correspondence is the lords of life. This is where I say, when you get knowledge, when you read knowledge, when you're told something, read again, then put it to the side, go live through what you've just read, put it in practice, pray upon it. Let days, months, even years pass. Read again and again. That's the only way. This knowledge, which we'll get to next, where this knowledge comes from, actually says that the knowledge will start seeping to you. Get people read it and create animations with our AI voice and fool people. And we would deface all of them. Trust me, we will. So, I didn't see the link. Light is meant to be strived for, but as the wheels have turned, I'm giving it out. For indeed, light cannot be given like that. You still have to do your due diligence and live through it if you believe it. So, the lords of life at round 4 correspond to 5 down here, the lords of all magic, and the lords with the key of the word that resound among man. I couldn't see the link for ever so long. How do they link? It was only after time that I came to realize that this essence is all built from above. So whatever enactment is in lower realms is the sum total of what that essence is. So you'll get to understand when we get up there. The lords of life correspond to 5. Remember that. We'll get to it very soon. Because the higher it goes, the more at one they are. Point 6. The pathway to the light. The planet of light, which corresponds to our mind, in realm 4, was spoken of as the flower of life. The flower of life, sidebar, is what built all knowledge. However, this knowledge, where it comes from, says the flower of life is the sun. How does it say that? There's an ode to the flower of life, which will let you know they're talking about the sun. The first few words will let you know. O Spirit of light that shines through the cosmos, draw me closer in harmony to you. Lift up my flame from the darkness, O magnet of fire that is one with the infinite all. Lift up my soul, thou mighty and potent child of light, turn not away. Draw me in power to melt your furnace, one with all things in one. Fire of the life strain, and at one with the brain. The link to our brain is in the prayer. The link to the sun, which builds the planet of light, which is reflected in our brain. It's said in that prayer. That prayer is actually a key to everything. Hang on to every word, read that prayer yourself, and as this story is being said, we'll get back to it, and you'll see those words we just glossed over has said the whole story already. Okay. So that's 6's link to the flower of life, the sun. It's described as the 12 in 1. 13, the mystical number. Fooled a lot of people, that 13 number. And you'll see what I'm saying next. Because 7's link, 7 down here at realm 3, the infinite all of space with the key to the times. In us is the space upon which our mind supports itself and exists in us. And when we go up to realm 4, in the presence, here at realm 3, like we said, the infinite all of space and time with the key to the infinite all of space with the key to the times. In realm 4, they are the 12 children of light. The knowledge tells us there were 33, but something happened and now there are 12. You don't need too much discernment to figure this out. For indeed, there are 12 months in all lands. Forget those who said there were 13 months. They're fooled by the 13 in 1. That just says the 12 lords shine their essence through one being, the mighty and potent. Let me say that again. The 12 children of light shine their essence, perform their essence through the mighty and potent child of light, the flower of life. That's where what the 12 in 1, 13, the mystical number, that's what it means. The 12 children represent the 12 partitions we call months. They oversee these spaces of time in a cyclical fashion. In the realm below, that's realm 3 where we are, that's our time and space. Does the weather, the moon, the partition of the months not define our time and space? Chill. 8 and 9, like I said, are at one in realm 4 as a pure light that before things were physical, i.e. even language, was encompassed and understood as the dweller, pure light. Okay, so that's realm 4. Now realm 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, the story's been told already. Indeed, the knowledge did not go beyond realm 4. Said, those who've deeped it, looked deeper, have peeped it already. So you're trying to tell me the knowledge was given for us to do mind work of a jigsaw and descent? I love jigsaws. How can we go up into realm 5 now without it being told to us? It's cascading. So, realm 5 is what builds the lords of life in realm 4 and what builds 5 in realm 3 here. The lords of all magic, the key to the power of the word that resounds among man. So 5 has all this in him to be able to build these things in realms below. What do you think we're talking about here? Like I said, it took me years, but when it dawned on me, boy, was it beautiful. All life was created by the word. Praises to the living God in Jesus' name. Still don't see it? Life. The Lords of Life at realm 4. Was created by the word. Point 5 is the word of the living being. Point 5 himself is a being. I cut to the chase because I'm going full speed from here on. That's the Archangel Michael. I'll provide proof of why I say that. He is the word. A formless form which builds all essences of life. And 5, the power of our word in the micro beings. That's this reflection in us. From life, from the word, all life was created. For all life to be created, that's all magic. You have to know it all. Sounds we don't hear, binding life together, why things don't just fall and loose apart. Keeping it all together, that's the real word going on, the word of life. It brings light. It ushers in the light. So we're going up now. It's key to note. There is atonement, and it's in a cascading fashion. So the 7 in 1, when we get to point 5, it's literally just 7. The heads of all those below have seats above, and we'll break that all down. But below is where their bloodline or the hierarchy exists. So there's a lot of beings within, say, for example, 3. There's a lot of beings. There's tens of thousands. It's a kingdom. It's not just God sitting there with his son. It's a kingdom. You think even down here in man's micro version, you can just go to Buckingham Palace and Charles is sitting there with William and that's it. It's a kingdom. There's dukes and earls and bloodlines you don't even know. So it is. But the higher it goes, the less they get. And at realm 5, it's just the being, the archangel. Well, the power of the word. I'll confirm why I say it's the Archangel Michael. And the bosses of the realms below have seats there. That's how the 7 is represented at 5. But when it goes to 6, it's literally the realm is the being, and it's just one. So that realm, that being, builds a presence at 5. For sure builds the present at 4, which is the flower of life, the light of the world. And at 3 builds the planet of light. And in us is represented in the brain. So who do you think this being is? Praises to the living God. I say in Jesus' name. Why? Because one man came. His story has never been washed since he came. A lot of people have come and claimed stuff that we don't even know just 20 years later. His story lasts. His words lasts. He said he was the only begotten Son of the living God. He said he was the pathway, the truth, and the life. No man goes to God but through him. He also said, I am the light of the world. Is the light of the world not the sun? You think it's too literal after this full breakdown? It's coincidence that it all adds up? The only begotten Son is the Spirit of light that builds in realm 4 the light of the world. In realm 3, the planet of light. In us, our brain. So, above him is the infinite circle of awareness. The representation in us, the dome above our head, in the presence is this essence above the only begotten Son is the macro presence upon which all presence is. are built, and is the space upon which the infinite all mind, which is the living God, sits. And the living God is the infinite, the 8 and 9, at 1 at realm 4 as the dweller, even yet more as 1 at realm 5 as a pure light. Realm 6 is in the being. Realm 7 is the space. And the actual essence of the being is infinite wisdom, which is the female essence, infinite mother, if you may. Wisdom is the summation of all possible means. At one with the infinite love, the infinite father, the male essence, who is infinite love, like I said, not the Cinderella type love. Perfect knowledge. At one, they are the infinite all. This was before language. Things were so physical. This was what they were understood and communicated as. All. The infinite all. When things became physical and language came on board, etc., they were the infinite almighty, the infinite all-powerful, and etc. This, my friend, is the living God. And what's key, I said to you, this has a take home. It's not woke knowledge where you just go back to your grind, go back to the way you pray, and things are still in a cycle and nothing is happening, and you feel like you know more, but you're still not going forward. What's the take home? There is a specific way to connect to the living God. How could there not be? When you deep it, the shepherds have done us a major disservice. There's a specific way. And the only way, why you think I wasted nigh on 45 minutes to talk about all these essences and how it's reflected in us and in the presence, the only way is to activate the higher essences in you and connect it to the living God. How does this work? You see, there's a positive pole. Mr. Sudentai's janky evidence has put that as north. Cool. The positive pole. When you take something magnetic, like a needle off a pin, and constantly be striking to the positive pole, you've magnetized that thing. Stick it in a cork, drop it in water, and it'll point north. Even a simple metal can get magnetized to north. We're electromagnetic. All this woke knowledge. What does it really mean? Well, there's a meditation. This knowledge specifies, connects you to the presence and to the living God through the pathway to the light, through Jesus. Yeah, everybody who touched on this knowledge is talking about next things, bruv. And we'll get into that next. That meditation, that prayer, will be irresponsible for me to just say, because there's deep warnings that come before this. Man has gone too far from the truth that some path will be jagged, and it'll be too irresponsible for me to say, just go lie down. The proper way to pray is lie down. There's all types of ways to pray, but the connection prayer is to atone, at one yourself with the very essence upon which you were built. Since I've done this, boy, listen. You wouldn't see me sitting here today looking even like I look, free as I am. The attacks, the revelations, the defacements and unveilments, the experiences I've been through since performing this meditation, it's immense. In there lies the testimonies. That's why I say it's a bit premature for me to talk about the testimonies without letting you know what led me to those testimonies. That, my friend, is the living God. Next, we're going to talk about where this information comes from. Because of where we are in a space full of noise, if I talked about where it come from first, I'll be doing the living God a disservice. Most will shut off. The truth looks stranger than fiction because we're so far away from it. Praises to the living God. We'll talk about where the knowledge came from. We'll talk about the meditation in depth. It's a cyclical thing. It's not just pray and you're at one. No, it's a cyclical thing. For everything is in cycles. You get to understand everything. You'll get to see everything, and not in a woke way. So, for example, if we think the calendar is janky, just by evidence of we live through 7 days and there's 52 of these lovely weeks. 7 times 52 is 364. So forget 365.25. We don't live through that. But you wouldn't see it like, I want to change it and go back to the whatever. No, that's woke knowledge. It's not going to change your life in any way. Sometimes you will see it as, oh, we'll just fumigate in the space to bring in proper knowledge. So we don't, it sets the tone not to lean too much on Mr. Suit and Tie. Why? Because their evidence, it's far-reaching and shaping our lives to live through some kind of unreality, and you can't change that. But you can survive through this system still at one with the living God. That's what it's all about. I say praises to the living God in Jesus' name. And when I say that, believe me, knowledge is power. I'm not just saying it to some imaginary thing. I know what built me. I know what's out there. And when I say it, I have a true connection. I ain't saying nobody's connection is not true, but everybody knows this much is true. Knowledge is power. And I say it with true power. Praises to the living God. Next, we talk about where this came from. If you've not run away so far, hopefully you won't run away. Keep it light, order, life, love, and wisdom. In Jesus' name.